Hello and welcome to this very special broadcast. This happens to be the most exciting and happy time for book lovers all across the country because this is the time when they converge in India's national capital, which is under a winter chill right now, for some excellent events around books. And I'm talking about the World Book Fair. And as a military enthusiast myself, a defense correspondent and an author of books on the military, I'm especially pleased and excited that this year's World Book Fair has a very special theme. And who else to talk about it than the person who's leading the charge and putting up this incredible grand festival here in the national capital, Director of the National Book Trust, Lieutenant Colonel Yuvraj Malik. Colonel Malik, welcome. A pleasure to have you. As always, first, whenever we have service personnel, thank you for your service. And I've read about all the great things you've done in uniform. But now your charge is books. The World Book Fair begins in the national capital. Tell us why military history has been chosen by you as a theme. I'm very excited about it. I know you are as well, but tell us why you chose it, sir.
If you see the history of civilization, I believe it's a history of war, warfare, and the heroes that come out of it to give the foundation to any strong nation. So this particular aspect of literature has been largely not got a front line, and we had a glorious past. We have a 5,000-year civilization where we have talked about values in terms of war. This is very unique feature of Indian value system. So we thought, why not put military history in a front showcase where we can bring our war heroes, where we can bring out the great lessons of war that our soldiers have fought for us, who made supreme sacrifices. And the best way to put it, dedicate this complete book fair and the literature segment through military history and celebrate their great legacies and New Delhi World Book Fair.
And it's going to happen in the Bharat Mandapam. I know many young readers will be coming to this incredible venue for the first time. You've taken over the whole place. You have a special section, I hear, dedicated to military history and military literature. Tell us what readers are going to see when they go there. I know I'm going to go there for sure, but tell us what they can expect to see.
Yeah, it's a very special theme, and the name of the theme that we have coined is Indian Military History, Valor and Wisdom. So when you visit the pavilion, which is specially curated for this theme in hall number 5, you will get to see a very big exhibition which have three-dimensional layering to it. One in the form of the books which have been written on our war heroes and military campaigns that India has done through the power of books. Then we have a lot of book release functions happening out there. The authors who have written, they will be interacting and discussing about their content, and we have invited a lot of real-time war heroes who are surviving or their families from 47, 62, 65, 71, then 99 and up to Operation Sindoor. So you'll get to see a digital exhibition, you will have book discussions, you will have book release functions, and most of all, like dedicated Paramveer gallery that we have created to, put a showcase to our supreme sacrifices of Paramveer Chakra awardees. And altogether, I'm sure it's going to be a great festivity around books, and the entire color theme, the insignias, the symbols, the branding work, the displays, the promotional material, everything will have some kind of military flavor to it.
This is one of the most beautiful things about the World Book Fair that you've just heard Colonel Malik say is that they're going to have heroes from all of India's wars actually be there in person. That is such an incredible and valuable opportunity. First of all, entry is free to the book fair, so anybody can go and interact with actual war heroes. This is something that never happens, Colonel Malik. I remember growing up, one never had a chance to actually get up close with war heroes, exchange a few words with them. There'll be thousands of people wanting to take selfies with our war heroes as well. That is something that makes a real mark on young minds, doesn't it?
That is the whole idea which you have brought out. Entry has been kept free to attract younger generation, especially the Gen Z that we call it. They should look up to and meet and feel who are their actual heroes, what they have done for the nation, how they played a role in nation building. So this is completely inspired by the fact, and not only the entry, all activities are absolutely free. They can participate in any activity, and we have made a deliberate effort to create selfies not in terms of anything but in terms of valor and wisdom. As we see in army, we are scholar warriors. When we are fighting, we are fighting, and when we are not fighting, we are doing scholarly work to create warriors that make supreme sacrifices and win laurels to the country.
Tell us what the military history landscape looks like right now. You've led the National Book Trust for a few years now. What is your assessment of how India covers its military history through books? Is it good? Much more needs to be done?
Of course, there's a great change in the approach we see. Like a lot of movies are coming from book to screen.
Yeah.
Now the screen to book is also happening. We've seen a couple of movies like Bahadur we have seen, then we have seen a movie on Manek Shah, we have seen movies on recently Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal also. So all these things are reflective of the fact that our generation is taking interest and they are receiving it very well. When we are creating our heroes on screen and then we are converting in them soft power. If you see the perspective from the foundational work, Shastra and Shastra, दोनों साथ साथ चलते हैं. Both things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So both we have to take equal care about it. When we think of Shastras, we fight with hard power. But when we talk of Shastra, we talk about soft power. And it's a complete comprehensive national power. And initially we don't realize, but what our younger generation will get to see, get to meet, they will find their ideals, their heroes in them. And as far as documentation, there are a lot of books which are happening on military fiction. There are a lot of books which are happening on real-time heroes. I am sitting with you. You have written a book on real-time heroes. Yeah. So the way these things are being documented, I am sure it's a very positive signal. There are books on Rezangla. Now, people never knew about Rezangla. So now people know through the words of Kulpreet Yadav.
Yes.
Through you, we know about most fearless people. General Cardozo has written a great amount of work on military history. And there are a lot of campaigns that have been done. War history has been documented. So it's very, very important to understand if we create a very strong documentation that is equally affecting the strength of the foundation of a nation.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting, Colonel Malik, because, you know, I think around a decade ago, something seemed to have changed in terms of public interest in these stories. You know, we have always had books about the military, but military literature, military culture, military history has never been a kind of mainstream part of popular culture like it is now. And we've seen it steadily growing since maybe 2015, 2016, when there were, you know, military operations across the line of control, etc. Now we've seen, like you rightly said, books about real-time heroes. I've written some, many others have written some as well. Lots of military fiction. And military history, you know, going back to, you know, events like the 1965 war, which in the public mind, people would have thought that these are well-documented histories. But now you have young historians going back and retelling those amazing stories.
Yes, absolutely. Not only proper history is being written, there is a new format of content which is coming, like comic books.
Yeah.
We have Paramveer Chakra series with us. That shows all about them. We have graphic novels. We have illustrated books. We have books which are, you know, silent books also for younger children, where we give them heroes. So this diversification has taken a quite a big leap in last 1 decade. And I'm sure when we see our Prime Minister, our President flying in those aircrafts, fighter aircraft, they go going to the submarines, they are going to the aircraft carriers. So entire country get motivated, entire armed forces get motivated, and it shows faith in our armed forces, and that's what we need as a nation, faith in our abilities and to stand tall. And that's how when we believe in ourselves, when we believe in our forces, when we believe in our ecosystem, in our own strength, I'm sure the will of the nation goes way ahead. That's the whole idea about bringing military history in the forefront and putting it at a very front foot.
In 2019, September, Colonel Malik, I had gone to meet the Prime Minister to present him with a copy of my second book, India's Most Fearless 2. And he was very happy because he said that he feels very comfortable. He gets a great sense of peace spending time with soldiers, as you've seen. I'm sure you've interacted as well. And as we've seen, every New Year, every Diwali, he spends with the security forces in some forward area. So in the ideas that you're implementing as part of the National Book Trust, do you get any guidance from the Prime Minister directly or indirectly in terms of, you know, generating more love for the armed forces?
Of course, definitely we have unconditional support from higher officers. They have always been very supportive of the fact that we should bring out more and more literature. Like there are many campaigns that have happened, they were never documented. For example, nobody knew that we had something like Jallianwala Bagh in Odisha in Kudopalli. So we bring out the, you know, massacre of Kudopalli and documented its brave story. Then we have brought out the unsung heroes of Jallianwala Bagh. We documented their name and history, who were those people who died for the nation. So like this, we have brought out a series of books, and there is great support from the higher officers to bring out this in the very organized manner, and not only in English and Hindi, to bring out in all Indian languages so that it can reach to the grassroots level.
You know, when you talk about unsung heroes, that strikes a chord with me, because that was literally the kind of trigger point for my books, because as you know, and you know, you're a serving officer, so you know that Republic Day, Independence Day, the investiture ceremonies. एक प्रेस रिलीज आता है जिसमें एक नाम लिस्ट में नाम्स होते हैं, शौर्य चक्र, ये वो, but nobody really knows the story behind those heroes, those individual heroes, and each one of those names in those lists is like a separate book. Would you agree? Each name is like a separate book.
Every life of a soldier is a complete saga about
book,
it.
Right?
Yeah,
it's incredible.
That's how it is, and it's not only for Republic Day or 15th August that we think about it. Every day we have to think of Shivaji.
Yeah.
What was Shivaji Maharaj? He was a product of the stories of valor that Mata Jijabai used to recite. So if you want your generation to become with values like Shivaji Maharaj, every mother has to become Jijabai at least for 10 minutes every night. When you go back home, your kid come back, you have to give them the story of valor and wisdom both. What is Gita? Gita is a document for not weak, it's a document for warriors. What is Mahabharata? It's a story of war, which tells us lessons of life. And I believe strongly, the best of the lessons of life, and best of the wisdom, best of the ethics have always come out of war. And that's how the Indian philosophy or believes in.
Yeah. Give us a sense of the landscape right now. You've headed the National Book Trust for a while now, hugely successful in terms of creating a culture of reading, especially among the young. I was looking at some recent articles and interviews of yours as well. So very, very commendable work that you're doing. Tell us about what the foreseeable future looks like in terms of reading culture, and especially on military topics, because we are in an age of AI. We are in an age of overwhelmingly of devices and iPads and phones and stuff. How do you compete with the physical books?
No, you have to accept technology. It's a change that we have to adapt to, and we have to find a way where we integrate technology also, and also retain our sanity. That's what I'm doing it. So we have upgraded ourselves. We have put up a Rashtriya e-Pustakala where more than 6,000 books are readily available in e-format.
Right.
So any citizen of this country, any child can just scan free of cost and download, and we are going to make it more than 10,000. We are trying to create many platforms like New Delhi World Book Fair. We had Pune Book Festival, hugely successful, where more than 1 million people turned up. We had Nagpur, we had Ahmedabad, we had Lucknow, Gorakhpur. So idea is to take these book fairs across the country so that not only the books are readily available at affordable prices, but also the authors who are the unsung heroes of the society, they also get platform. They get to speak about their work. They get a very big launchpad to promote their content. So it's a complete ecosystem of learning where we have authors, we have writers, we have publishers, when we have illustrators, graphic designer. It's a knowledge economy concept that we are working on, and taking book reading culture at the grassroots level is very, very integral to nation building. Whenever a book is published, it is not that one book is published. It's a stone in the nation building. Every act is leading to a nation building, because I strongly believe some child, some young person will pick it up, and it might change his life, and then he can create miracles for the nation.
Yeah, and speaking of changing lives, with the armed forces especially, they are also looking at this young generation right now and hoping that, when they come of age, the armed forces are still an attractive, option as far as a livelihood and a career is concerned. I don't like using the word career when it comes to the armed forces, because we all know that being in the armed forces is much more than just receiving a salary. It's a way of life. It's a culture. It's an ethos. It's more than that. And people choose to be in the armed forces for more than just a career option. But circling back to the World Book Fair and what you are doing this year, Colonel Malik, give us a sense of how the armed forces sees it, because the armed forces will be, I'm sure, very happy about it, because it brings a focus to something that the armed forces has tried to do for many years together. It has had mixed results. Trying to tell these stories, trying to create awareness about these heroes, in the hope that ultimately it will create a kind of yearning within young men and women of India that, hey, I also want to join the armed forces and do great things.
Yeah, absolutely. We have got a good response from our armed forces. They are putting a pavilion. Do you have it in your campaign we are running, so that we can inspire our youth to join armed forces. And I personally believe with my life that every person, for at least from some point of time, have an exposure of serving in armed forces, because it shapes your mindset, it shapes your personality, it gives you value system, it gives you ethics, and it gives you confidence that you can take on anything, you can fight anything. So that's what armed forces bring in you, the amount of discipline and value system. And as far as this beginning, you have brought out a very important, this is actually a very good beginning. And we are going to scale it up in other part of the country
Yeah.
also. We'll take these exhibitions, we'll take these initiatives and connect more and more youth with our armed forces, with their history. And this book fair, keeping in ticket free, is only aimed with that. Not only this, we are putting in a very softer form on children pavilion also in our book fair, where we have invited Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla.
Yeah.
He represents Indian Air Force, he represents the entire ISRO and the country as an astronaut. So this interaction with young children will definitely inspire many to pick up Air Force and then of course subsequently to become an astronaut. Likewise, we invited many other armed forces officers who had glorious career, who made remarkable contribution. They will be talking one-to-one and talking to our NCC cadets. We have made an outreach plan for that. And a lot of NCC cadet, NSS cadets are coming to have an interaction.
Yeah.
So I personally feel through the power of books, through these campaigns, integrating them together, involving our armed forces in outreaching and putting a motivational environment there, I'm sure this beginning is going to go a big way.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, because it already is has been scaled up to an incredible level. You know, when you speak of soldier scholar, that's a very unique thing that we have in this country. You know, as someone who's been in uniform, and I'm sure you will return to uniform at some point of time, Colonel Malik, tell us your personal story. When you were in uniform, you're a warrior. You know, you've been an officer, soldier. You've served in peacekeeping missions. You've been in combat. You've been in you know, counterinsurgency operations. You've been in all of those things. So you've seen what it's actually like out there, and now you're on the other side, you know, trying to tell those stories and convey those stories. So you've seen the challenges on both sides. So I want to ask you, when you were in, you know, when you were in combat service, now you're still an officer, did you have a yearning to tell those stories, to be able to be in the position you are right now?
I personally feel the way armed forces bring out you don't look like that it need to be told. We all feel it's call of duty. And it is inherent, I think, in every soldier. He doesn't feel that he needs recognition for this, and he doesn't feel that it need to be told. Of course, if it is told, everyone feel good about it and proud about it. But when you are into it, there's nothing beyond call of duty that comes in your mind. And like we call it Chedwood motto, we call it the safety, honor and welfare of the country comes first, always and every time.
True.
Safety, honor and welfare of the man comes next, you comes always last. So I think nation first is the thing that inspire every soldier who is putting in uniform in wherever domain he is working with. And that doesn't change at all. That's how our armed forces are different from other world.
Yeah. And you know, and one of the amazing things about the Indian Armed Forces, even though it was slow to take that up, was women in the armed forces. You know, and this government was very particular that they want to cross those hurdles and you know, not waste time in too much discussion. We need to create a level playing field for women in the armed forces, and it has proven to be such an incredible decision, because we have women fighter pilots. You know, women will soon be in the combat arms in the Indian Army as well. You know, in the public mind, you know, there is a kind of patriarchal view that the military is a kind of male domain. Give us your sense of what kind of female readership, female authorship there is in the military space. I know many women authors who write about the military also.
Absolutely right. I feel more than serving military officers, the wives of the army
wives
officers,
also,
they are
right.
doing commendable job.
Yes, amazing.
Because they can feel the heat of that you know, trauma, the heat of that, you know, difficulties around their ecosystem, the way they lead. It's not only soldiers who fight for the nation, it's the families also who are fighting. And of course, there are many young authors who are coming up, and projection of army, participation of army in terms of women participation, it is increasing. And we have seen in Operation Sindoor, our women have become the face of our campaign, and they have led them very beautifully. We have commanding officers now leading the campaigns all across the world in different sectors, be it in, you know, active arms also. So I'm sure it's a very good indication for a society. And if I give you an example, I was reading the most experienced and you know, successful astronaut is a woman from America who has gone for the mission with Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla. So I asked what makes them special. He says it's all mental toughness, and you know, they are more ready. So I don't think there's male or female concept anymore, in leadership. Leadership is all about the kind of instinct, the kind of nerve you have.
Final question to you, Colonel Malik, then, is that with this incredible book fair that is going to draw in, I'm sure millions are going to be there, because I have been there at the book fair in times when there's no place to move, because that's how popular it is. And with this kind of theme, I'm sure it's going to be even bigger. So, and I will be putting word out myself as well. But in your mind, as the director of the National Book Trust, or the lead organizer of this amazing event, what would you be satisfied with in terms of a final outcome for this book fair?
I always believe a nation which doesn't respect its heroes or don't remember them will produce them in abundance in long run. So this is our way to tell our younger generation, our society, our people that come and see who fought for you, how they fought it, where they fought it, how they made sacrifices. If you can come, see their contribution, I think that is the best tribute we can give it to our war heroes. There's a very famous poem I remember now कि शहीदों की चिताओं पे लगेंगे हर बरस मेले, वतन पे मिटने वालों का यही बाकी निशा होगा. So I think this is our tribute to our heroes who made all the sacrifices, who brought Lawrence to this country, and they made us proud. So everyone should come, celebrate the festivity, celebrate the history, and celebrate the contribution of armed forces in nation building.
Well, one looks very, very much forward to the World Book Fair that is from the 10th to the 18th of January. Entry is free, incredible, which means no barriers. You can just walk in. I'm still in a sense of disbelief that you're going to have so many war heroes, past and present, who are going to be there in the flesh to interact with the young people of India. It's an incredible opportunity. The World Book Fair is from the 10th to the 18th of January at the Bharat Mandapam in Delhi. If you haven't been there, this is your chance to go there and experience what I personally believe is going to be the experience of a lifetime. I personally will be there as well. So if you're going, we will see you there. Thank you very much, Colonel Malik, for your time. All the very best. And once again, big salute to all the great work you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for watching. See you at the World Book Fair.